at Latram.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dr. David Banner, physician, scientist, searching for a way to tap into the hidden strengths that all humans have. Then an accidental
program
radiation
that we all know the whole premise from our cartoon days as a child. We certainly don't want to watch this, do we, on a Friday, Fantasy Friday? Hulk reruns or the neutral ground? You choose. Let's bring in number 9. He'll decide. It's Mr. Drew Brees, former Saints quarterback, live from La Jolla.
You would like me when I'm angry.
We would not like you when you're angry, Drew Brees. Thank you for that introduction, live from La Jolla. Kind of like the Kenner of San Diego. No different at all. It's the same thing, trust me. Wow. Yeah, you right. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. You ready to roll, Crescent City and beyond? Corey Johnson with you on a pretty nice day. Those meteorologists, by golly, I thought it was going to be a little bit more humid. That was the old prediction. And it's still more humid than it was earlier in the week, but pleasant outside. Not too bad. And tonight should be a nice evening. Drop some coals, boil some seafood, get outside, enjoy the backyard, the front yard, the front porch. Invite some friends over. Head on over to where friends are. Get outside, enjoy it. Got a good Fantasy Friday edition of the program lined up for you. Thanks so much for finding us. We're here every weekday afternoon. 2 big hours, telling it like it is. We don't screen calls. We take all comers. We don't cut off folks we disagree with. We let the audience decide. I'm not always right. I'm not wrong a lot of the time either. Sometimes wrong. I think more times than not right, and that doesn't even matter. You get to call in. The audience decides. We never cut you off. This isn't some show that screen calls only let in certain callers, steer the show in a certain direction. You know my deal. That line about being fair and objective, it's not a line, it's just how it is. I don't know why Fox says fair and balanced. They should just say conservative news. MSNBC, same kind of deal. Liberal-leaning news. Political news, even. Political news. No, fair and balanced. I'm a registered independent since I was 18. Just because I went to register, I was like, well, I'm not really a Democrat. Yeah, I'm not really a Republican. No, I like some of those conservative ideals. Yeah, I like some of those liberal ideals. Now I'm other. Always have been. Would not want to be affiliated with either party, and it's not right, wrong. It's just what's for me. If I were a liberal, I'd be a registered Democrat. If I were a conservative, I'd be a registered Republican. If I bled blatantly more one or the other, I would be that. I don't think there are too many people that are registered. That guy's a registered Republican, but Jimmy's really a Democrat. I don't think there's that many folks like that. Yeah, he says he's a Democrat. That guy's so Republican. I mean, I don't know why people would lie. I would think 99% of all that's fairly accurate. Anyway, I try to look at things from the other side, have empathy, understanding, and also try to do things with, high integrity, ethics, morals, that kind of thinking. How the people that represent us should be using those ideals to get from point A to point B. Anyway, that's how we run things over here. Because what I've noticed, and I've been living in it for, my entire adult life, that would be 35 plus years now. 35 years. Think about the steady decline of New Orleans. Think about all the politicians that have come and gone during that time period. I know, it's laughable. No, I've seen a lot. And in New Orleans, it's not liberal Democrat run. It's hyper left. It's super woke. It's government giving out money, BS contracts, bloated workforce, no one performing. I shouldn't say no one. A lot of folks not performing. Just an inefficient city, corrupt, backwards, you know what, living in yesteryear. Not a Republican or a conservative ideal represented anywhere in the city of New Orleans. Nowhere. None. No way you'd have a Republican mayor in New Orleans. Impossible. Much less like even a council person. I mean, folks that think that's okay, that's part of the problem with New Orleans, just this one way of thinking, and it's extreme too. It's hyper left. It's hyper woke. And then you've got these folks like they're playing the opposite game in New Orleans that's kind of played around the state and around the country. In New Orleans, conservative and Republican is an evil. Those are bad people. Around the country, Republicans, you got to give them credit. They've made like liberal and progressive bad words. Rarely do you see a sign, Frank Smith, liberal. Vote number 14. You see Frank Smith, conservative all the time. Like, oh, that's a plus. Liberal would be a negative. That's almost like the general thought in America amongst many people, left, right, in the middle, because of the Republicans pushing that. No, the Democrat city, New Orleans, not a right-wing or conservative thought. That's just a problem, I think. And Louisiana, I used to think was the total equal and opposite, and it is about 90%. I'm not cutting hyper right-wing Louisiana any slack, but they did elect a Democrat governor not once but twice, John Bel Edwards, a moderate Democrat, pro-abortion, anti-abortion, pro-guns, couple of conservative ideals that are important in Louisiana. He's a blue dog Democrat. He's a moderate Democrat. So do I think Louisiana's too right-wing hardcore extreme? Yes. Off the charts. We worry about stupid stuff. We pass laws and things that are meaningless, and the stuff that's important, we're not even, it's not even on the radar. No, it's why Louisiana flounders. Why we're not competing against states in the South. Yeah. If it were the Saints or LSU, we'd have a losing record. Fire the coach. Here we're just like, man, it's all right. Hunting and fishing season's going on. I got my Mardi Gras float. Hey, you want to meet at the bar? 3-for-1's going down. Everything's cool. It's Friday, the weekend. This is where we excel. From right now till about 9 a.m. Monday morning, we are the world champs. But from 9 a.m. Monday to 5 p.m., we're not so good. No, it's the extremes that just wear you out. It's why Louisiana's floundered, why we've missed this rocket ship, not the boat. Texas, fastest growing state in the country the last, 40, 50 years? Literally. The South, fastest growing region in the country for decades. We're surrounded by it. And we don't even know where the game is, the stadium, what sports being played. It's crazy. No, if it were I wish there were records, because Nashville's like, 12 games LSU season. Nashville's 10-2. Austin's 11-1. Houston, Atlanta, Dallas, they have multiple championships. They're like Alabama. New Orleans is like 3-9. Or should I say 3-8, because we can't even add up the record right. I mean, Louisiana, use LSU. Or use the Saints. 17-game schedule. You want to get to 12, 13 wins. We're the opposite. We're lucky to get to 4 or 5. If we had this record every year, finishing last place in the division, the city versus other cities, the state versus other states, maybe it'd wake us up a little bit, because that's the real score. That's the real score. No, extreme left and extreme right is why New Orleans and Louisiana gets bogged down. Hey, it's a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. All right, I'm off the soapbox. Pretty nice day, and we got a good one for you. Fletcher Mackel will be joining us in just a few minutes. Another edition of Fridays with Fletch. Frank Brigtsen in the 5 o'clock power hour. You got to like that. Boy, this, I'm going to make it quick. It's just brutal. I don't want you to not think about it, but it's Friday, but 3 children killed in this house fire in Gretna. No, it's just sickening. It hurts. It's not comprehensible. I mean, or comprehensible. I can't wrap my brain around it. A terrible story on a Friday. I don't mean to throw that out there, but it's in our community. These parents have to be kept in our thoughts, prayers. 3 children killed in a house fire in Gretna on the West Bank. Corey Johnson with you on a Fantasy Friday. Fletcher Mackel joins us next to tell us about the Saints, the Green Wave, the Tigers, and more.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, now with 4 area locations. Canal at Carrollton, on the North Shore in Slidell, in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana, and now in Metairie, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. The Woodhouse Day Spa.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
This is what Drew Brees thinks about Super Discount Store in Chalmette. Actually, Brees doesn't think at all about Super Discount Store, but they do have the lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law for beer, alcohol, and wine. Super Discount Store in Chalmette. Super Discount Store!
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans Napoleon Terminal is nearly doubling in size, with 4 new gantry cranes being installed and over $100 million being invested. That means lots of new jobs, port traffic, and tax dollars for the city. The Port of New Orleans, your port.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spots. NolaAC.com, your cool spots.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, You think about fresh local fish like flounder, snapper, and speckled trout, fried, broiled, or grilled. Fury's Restaurant in Metairie.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City. Corey Johnson back at you. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Anyway, Jason, so what I was saying was I'm going down like Carrollton, and it's, it's speed limit on there, about 35. This old Mercedes diesel clunkers in the left lane doing like 20, So I'm right up on this cat's tail and kind of honk the horn. Hits the gas, just this big, I'm just encased in a black cloud of smoke, Jason, just this pollution device after he hit the gas, and got up from like 20 to 23 miles an hour. I had to go around him. Anyways, the lady passenger in my car said, "Hey, that looks like that Fletcher Mackel guy who does that investigative stuff at Channel 6. I said, And then we just drove on and enjoyed our day. Hey, speaking of, it's another edition of Fridays with Fletch. Fletcher Mackel joins us on the program. Hello?
Yes.
What up,
What's
Fletch?
happening?
What up?
What's up?
Was that you in the diesel Mercedes punching it and the big black cloud came out, and in 9.7 seconds you went from 20 to 24 miles an hour? Was that you?
I will say this. I am safe. My car does not go fast. It doesn't give plumes of black smoke, though. So I don't know, why my car is in such good shape after almost 40 years. But it is an old diesel Mercedes. It doesn't go fast, but it doesn't spew black smoke or, toxins everywhere it goes.
Does it leak oil?
I hope not. I mean, I park in front of my house every day, and it's good. I park in the lot at WDSU every day, and when I drive off, I don't see a puddle of what looks like oil or gas or anything toxic.
There you go. All right. The old Benzie's holding strong. That's so funny. When people are like, what year is yours? I'm like, I drive an old car. I have an old Mercedes. It's a 2011. It's old. Yours is what, a 80 what?
4.
Wow.
84. Yeah.
I'm guessing you were like in 4th grade.
I was 9.
Yeah.
I was in 4th grade.
Exactly.
Yep.
Again, I was like a junior at De La Salle.
So there you go.
Some uptown dude was driving your car brand new.
The funny thing is this car is, so the crazy thing when I bought this car during the pandemic, not that people want to hear this, but since you asked, I'm going to tell you, I bought this on like a whim.
I didn't ask.
Pandemic. I met like an older gentleman that had taken care of it for like 25 years, drove it all the time, said he didn't drive it anymore, and he didn't want to just park it in the garage. He's like, I want somebody that wants to drive it and take care of it.
And
like
appreciate it.
Driver. So I bought it, and I had it shipped from Florida. And then here's the crazy thing is when I tried to register it in Louisiana, they couldn't find, even though the VIN number on the Mercedes, it was built in Stuttgart, Germany. It's carved in the VIN number, the born on date, the whole thing. They could not find a record of this car anywhere like since like the late 90s. Like it's like it didn't exist. So they had to like create a new VIN. And it was like a huge, I had to drive to Baton Rouge to go to the state police headquarters. I'm like, all this just to get my car registered. It was crazy.
So the point of the story is you're driving a stolen car.
You know what? I actually did think, like, was this kind of some, like, it was from Florida. So I'm thinking, oh, man, like Miami Vice in the 80s, that there's some crazy story that this car was, I can only imagine the history of it. There was a movie called The Red Violin where they followed the history of this violin for like 300 years to present day. It's a fantastic movie. And I kept thinking, what is the history of this car if state police can't even discover the VIN or the history of it? So it was kind of fascinating.
Could have been El Chapo's car and they imported it. You never know.
True.
Yep. All right, are you ready to get into some serious action, Fletcher?
Let's do it, sure.
All right, what's going on with your New Orleans Saints? Boy, they could use that Garner Johnson guy, no relation about right now, from, hey, man, a lot of depth at defensive back to welcome to the NFL. Is Adebo's ankle a high ankle sprain? Because that could be a while, huh?
I don't know. I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. He, I remember last week, a few of us were surprised when he popped up on the injury report. I've seen him walking around the locker room, and he doesn't have anything noticeable on, like a boot or anything. So, and he was on the sideline for the first game. So, again, they don't discuss the details of the injury, but it doesn't look like a high ankle sprain, which you're right, could be a longer format injury. But yeah, and now you've got both running backs that are questionable. I don't think Kamara's going to play. He hasn't practiced. They did sign Latavius Murray. It'll be interesting to see because their depth is, we heard about all the depth. Their depth is being tested early now. I mean, look, Justin Evans played a lot of snaps the other day against the Falcons. I don't know if that's good or bad, but he was solid, certainly not spectacular. I don't know if anybody on the defense was spectacular. The one thing, and I'm not trying to be the Saints defender here because they're going to have to play the Eagles. They may have to play the Eagles in the playoffs, is the three teams. I mean, this defense under Dennis Allen the last 3 years has been a top 10 unit, top half of the league unit, some categories top 5 unit. But the three teams, and there's only three, and it's really one team, one franchise, two different teams. The Eagles with Jalen Hurts and Mariota, the mobile quarterbacks have given the Saints fits. I mean, besides those, the Eagles twice and Mariota, they have not allowed a lot of rushing yards to teams. I mean, it's been 20 games since anybody rushed for 100 yards. So I don't know what it is about this defense and being confused or not being able to slow down, mobile quarterbacks. But the last three dual threat quarterbacks they've played have given them fits. And it was Jalen Hurts twice and Mariota once. So I think you're going to see a much better defensive effort against Tom Brady this Sunday. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I think you're going to see a different unit out there than the one that got gashed on Sunday.
Fletcher Mackel's with us. Another Fridays with Fletch. Every day this program, radio, television, YouTube now. Brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. Lamarck Ford, Lamarck Lincoln, the big store on the car corner, Williams Boulevard and I-10 in Kennebra. Right on the corner, right on the price. The Lamarck Automotive Complex. And now, Lamarck Crescent City Ford. That's right. Legendary Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. Lamarck Crescent City Ford. You got the big store, Lamarck Ford at the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kennebra on the lake. And now Lamarck Crescent City Ford across the parish in Elmwood on the river. Ronnie Lamarck bridging the gap. Every day this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. And now Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Elmwood in Harahan. Fletch, I would assume, you kind of answered it indirectly with the your other answer, your previous answer. Kaare didn't practice. I doubt he's going to play. Ingram, I think, will play, but is limited. And I think they signed Murray because Murray's going to get 8, 10, 12, 15 carries this week.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think that you're going to see Alvin Kamara not be able to go. Look, guys who usually don't practice on Thursday or Friday.
They're usually just out, no doubt. But, now it's a little different.
Rule him out. Like Adebo is ruled out, so he's out. The fact that they didn't rule Kamara out, what it tells me is this is how Peyton handled it. It's a game time decision. They're going to put them through an extensive workout before the game, and they want to see certain things. I remember Peyton did that with Reggie Bush a few times and certain injured players at certain times. Is we're not saying you're out, but you're going to have to really prove to us game day morning that you can handle it. And if you can't, we're not going to risk it. It's a long season. So, but I just go with, I don't think Kamara is going to play. I think it's early in the season. I think there's a lot of football left to be played. So I think you're right. I think you're going to see Ingram play and start, and I think you're going to see Latavius Murray. And look, we talked to Latavius Murray on Wednesday. He was with this team last year in training camp. They wanted him to take a pay cut. He said, no way. They just cut him, and he signed and played last year with the Baltimore Ravens, and he's been a free agent since. He said that he knows, this playbook, it's still Pete Carmichael. It's still mostly the same offense. So he said he feels like even with only 3 days of practice, he could step right in and play, which is good because I think he's going to.
Boy, we saw everything Jameis Winston has to offer last week, about as bad as he can play, just off and not in any kind of a rhythm and just didn't have it going, to the final 12 minutes, about as good as any quarterback in the league at any time can play. I don't care who you're talking about, Hall of Famers or not. I mean, and I don't want to say he put an 8 on the scorecard in the beginning and now he's over the hump and it's going to be Birdie City the rest of the way. But hopefully that the jitters with that first game is behind him, sort of has a better understanding of, okay, regular season, let's go. And no, I'm not expecting the final 12 minutes all the time, Fletch, but let's say play that leans more towards that than play that leans more towards the start. You got about 30 seconds. We'll take a quick break.
Yeah, no, look, I hope we see more of fourth quarter Jameis. He went 13 of 16, and 2 of those incompletes were spikes. So he really went 13 of 14 for 200-plus yards and 2 touchdowns. The good news is he didn't throw any interceptions, so he protected the football. I just hope that what you see in the fourth quarter is more. He can't do that every game, every quarter, but you hope that what you saw in the fourth quarter is more of what you see this season than, you're right, out of rhythm, out of sync for 3 quarters with his offense.
And you saw some throws. I'm not comparing these quarterbacks. Just physical arm strength, velocity, distance, arc on the ball, how long it takes from release to catch. Some throws that Drew Brees never could make in his life, just way across the field, way down the field on a laser. Insane. Coming right back, more with Fletch.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Tommy's Lock and Alarms is now hiring service and installation technicians. Great benefits, great pay, take-home vehicle. Apply today. Tommy'sLockandAlarms.com.
The Port of New Orleans Napoleon Terminal is nearly doubling in size, with 4 new gantry cranes being installed and over $100 million being invested. That means lots of new jobs, port traffic, and tax dollars for the city. The Port of New Orleans, your port.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Kanye West was seen shopping at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Walt Disney, Nike, Google.
Okay, I think Kanye was talking about something else entirely. Super Discount Store on Paris Road in Chalmette.
Enjoy outdoor dining on the streetcar line, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, the finest in Middle Eastern cuisine, Carrollton at Jeanette, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's service, total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. For the service, total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Hey, there's a Rouse's in your neighborhood or near your neighborhood. Over 60 Rouse's. About a third of them, over 20 Rouse's, are in Metro New Orleans. Best quality, best price, best selection. Tastes like home, Rouse's Markets. It's another edition of Fridays with Fletch. That's right. After spending 3.5 weeks at OPP, he's out, and he's back on the program with us again. Thanks for doing it, Fletch.
Gee, thanks, Corey. Thanks for as always, the fantastic introduction.
How was OPP and Susan Hudson and the bologna sandwiches and the Kool-Aid? How was all that? Did you like the one-piece jumpsuit? Did you have access to a cell phone, and were you drinking Budweiser beer like that video from a few years back? Fill us in.
That video was a lot worse than that, by the way. I remember how that was just crazy.
That was insane.
Video. Yeah.
I was like, those guys are living better than me on the street. They got it pretty good. That's a high-tech cell phone, and that Budweiser looks cold.
Yeah, that made a lot of national news for the wrong reasons.
Yeah. That and like when the rapper guy's in jail and he somehow makes the video from jail. That's just not good. And the sheriff has to really be bummed. He goes home, his kids are watching MTV or whatever, and the video pops up and it's his jail. I mean, that's got to be a bummer. Anyway, what the hell? Let's get back to reality. Fletcher really wasn't at OPP. It was Parchman in Mississippi. The offenses took place in Mississippi. Oh, boy. Just digging a hole, aren't I, Fletch? All right. Any other Saints news before we move on besides, what we've broken down so far? No Adebo, probably no Kamara. Jameis Winston looked great in the fourth quarter. Hopefully he keeps playing like that. What did you think of my comments? I'm not saying better quarterback, but boy, Breeze doesn't have those physical tools. Breeze doesn't have the ball velocity. Breeze can't throw it on a line from, the drop back position to the sideline 30, 40 yards down the field like that. He had some, some balls zinging all over the field in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. The one thing about Jameis is no one's ever questioned the quote-unquote arm talent.
Of course not.
From his days in high school to Florida State look, he threw for 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers one year. He's one of only 10 quarterbacks in NFL history to throw for 5,000 yards. He just threw 33 picks with it. So no one, when you see, him unleash, those balls to Mike Thomas, the coverage was there. That's an elite cornerback. That kid from Clemson, he can zip it in there. It's like watching a pitcher. I equate things to baseball because I played baseball. It's like watching a pitcher stand on the mound and throw 98 miles an hour. You just shake your head and go, wow. But can he locate? Can he make pitches in big spots? And, Breeze was the Greg Maddux, if you will. Now we've got a guy on the mound, throwing 100 miles an hour, and you're just awed by it. If he can make those throws like he did on Sunday consistently, the Saints offense has a chance to be really special. The problem has always been with Jameis, the consistency to do it, on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. It's almost like when you got an arm like that, you're daring yourself to thread the needle, and it's like there's an open guy over here. So no, his thing is not doing the unnecessary thing because he's so physically talented, and then just reading defenses, progressions, anticipation, where Breeze was just maybe the best ever. That kind of stuff is improving. So we'll see. Well, what do you think's going down? It's interesting, Fletch. You don't see this too often. Saints are in the Dome against a division opponent, and they're getting 2.5 points. I mean, the Superdome's worth more than the traditional 3. It's probably 3.5, 4-point home field advantage. So Tampa's a touchdown favorite on a neutral field. Tampa's a 8, 9, 10-point favorite over the Saints. That's what Vegas is saying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Vegas puts as much weight into the home field advantage. I think you're right. Just the home field advantage. That place is going to be raucous and crazy and amped up and juiced to go. So I would agree with you. I just think that there's still a lot of questions about the Saints. That I think everybody knows. The Bucs team is really good. Even with some wide receivers out this week, Brady threw 40 touchdowns 2 years ago, 43 last year. He was the runner-up MVP. They still have Fournette. They still have a lot of players that made a deep playoff run last year. And, oh, by the way, the Saints were down 16 in the fourth quarter against a pretty bad Falcons team. So I just think that while you and I look at the home field advantage, I think Vegas looks at it and says the Saints need to prove more before we go ahead and christen them on equal footing with Brady and the Bucs.
Well, I'll tell you why it's 2.5. You just mentioned the name, the New Orleans kid, and what he did last week. Vegas sees that, and they're like, if Fournette runs at 80% of that, and the way the Saints defended the run against Atlanta, Tampa's going to win, no pun intended, running away.
Yeah, and that again, you're 100% right. I mean, look, Fournette is a load to bring down, and just looked like he was putting his shoulders into guys, and it was like a video game last week at some point. And so the one thing I'll say about this, and again, it gets back to what we talked about when I first started, is Brady is a wooden Indian back there. Now, look, he makes quick decisions, and he can pick you apart like a surgeon. He hasn't done it against the Saints. But I think, I think it's just a much different offense. And this is an offense that the Saints have been able to create pressure and force turnovers. Look, Brady, I think, has 6 touchdowns and 8 interceptions in his games against the Saints in 2 years. So the Saints have been able to figure him out and stop the running game and contain Fournette. So, look, that doesn't mean it's going to happen every single time they play. But until the Tampa Bay Buccaneers break that mold, well, then you've got to at least believe the Saints know what they're doing against this team.
What is this? One of these 27-25 games, 29-26, something weird like that, 31-27?
Here's the thing. Last week I predicted that the Saints were going to make a statement against the Falcons.
And what did I do? I said, Fletch, this is a rivalry game, NFC South. You got to throw that out the window. But I'm with you, buddy. That's what I did. I sold out what I should have said and jumped on board with you. But continue.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I wish you wouldn't have continued with me. So I do think this is going to be a close game. And yes, I would agree that I think this seems like a 24-21, 27-24, some type of, even like a 20-17 game. Like I could see this game decided by a field goal, I just think that this is going to be a real battle. Like this is going to be gladiators going to battle, knowing they'll say it's just another game and they'll say there's a lot of football left. And that's all true. But both of these teams know what this is. I mean, this is an early season benchmark measuring stick for both teams.
I think the dome renovations, fans on the field, all that is great. What's the official attendance now? Aren't they down to like 68,500? So it's maybe about 4,000 less than normal, which that's meaningless. That 68,500, 73,000. It's pretty much the same thing, but I think slightly reduced seating because of the ongoing renovations, if I'm not mistaken.
You are, yeah. So the normal dome capacity is about 72 and a half, almost 73. And because of the renovations, yes, it's about 68 and change right now. So, but it's still going to be back to the gills in a pretty raucous environment.
And like I said, those, bunker suites and all these new things, maybe as loud as with the other 4,000 still there. But yeah, it doesn't even matter. It's going to be insane. Total 12th man college-like atmosphere. Hey, at this time tomorrow, the Green Wave will be in the third quarter at K-State. Will it be a ball game at this time tomorrow in the third quarter, Green Wave at Kansas State? They're getting Kansas State's favored by 13, a couple of touchdowns.
I hope. I mean, look, Kansas State's been impressive its first two games. I mean, not that Missouri is the class of the SEC, but Missouri went to Kansas State last week and just got pummeled. And so here's the thing. Last year, Tulane in their opener almost beat Oklahoma at Oklahoma and was right there with them till the bitter end. And that was an Oklahoma team that was in, the top 10, was number 2 when Tulane played them and was a top 10 program. And so Kansas State, I certainly think is a solid program. But look, I think Michael Pratt's a really talented player. I think they've got a lot of talented players on this Tulane team. So I think they could potentially pull an upset. Do I think they are? No. But it wouldn't surprise me if Willie Fritz got his first win over a Power 5 team since he arrived at Tulane. I think they have the moxie and the makeup to do it. But if you hold me to it, I would bet against it.
Fletch, about 30 seconds. Like the Saints getting 2.5 at home against Tampa, LSU getting 2.5 at home against Mississippi State.
Yeah, I mean, I see why. I mean, look, Mississippi State's offense with Mike Leach can throw up points. LSU did not look good against against Florida State team that isn't all that great. So, there's still a lot of question marks with LSU. Great. They got it together against Southern. That doesn't really count. That was like a practice game almost. So again, I see why Mississippi State is favored. I think it's going to be a really interesting game. And if LSU doesn't win this game, it's hard to find 6 wins on their schedule.
No, you're right. It's almost a must
win. If they don't win this game at home, where they get their 6 wins from, I'm not sure.
Yep. If it were television, he would have stuck to the 20 seconds. And then I could have asked him about Federer retiring. Serena, they've been part of our entire professional lives. Fletch, see you next week. Thank you.
All right, Corey.
Yeah, you're right. Coming right back.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one of these coveted positions, go online to tommyslockandalarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30, and they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The Port of New Orleans Napoleon Terminal is nearly doubling in size, with 4 new gantry cranes being installed and over $100 million being invested. That means lots of new jobs, port traffic, and tax dollars for the city. The Port of New Orleans, your port.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
Have a painting project but can't decide on the perfect color? At Helm Paint and Decorating, we offer half-pint paint samples in any Benjamin Moore color for under $5, so you can test potential paint colors before investing in a full gallon.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal: everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good, and we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Recently, Kim Kardashian was seen at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
Let's party.
Can you think of any other celebrities that won't sue us? Super Discount Store in Chalmette. The lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and cold beer. 3235 Paris Road.
Hey, where is the second largest collection of Confederacy memorabilia in the world? It's not at your friend Frankie's house, the racist. It's at a museum in New Orleans. Where? Give me the answer. I got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate for you. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse can be yours. Rouse's Markets phone lines 504-766-9480. 504-766-9480. For you 60-plus-year-olds, this lame attempt is for you. The party's on the south side. From dawn till dusk, it's south side. Somebody south side. Who's somebody? Who owned the South Side Bar Dance Club in or right off, I think right on the edge of Fat City, bruh? That would be for you 60-plus-year-olds. You're showing your age if you know about the South Side. Who owned the South Side? Whose name was part of the jingle? Give me that cat's name. Perfect name, too. Sounds like a club owner. I got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate for you. Rouse's Markets phone lines 504-766-9480. 504-766-9480. A Fantasy Friday edition of the program, 5 o'clock power hour, just minutes away. Hey, why aren't you at Katie's right now? Friday afternoon, winding down the work week, getting ready for the weekend. I bet you Katie's has a pulse right now that's off the charts. Is there a Katie's live cam? Folks just head into Katie's 2:30, 3 o'clock, winding down the work day. Grab a drink, grab some appetizers, grab lunch, grab dinner, get an entree or two, share it, big portions, authentic New Orleans food, from po' boys to pizza and everything else. Old school, Katie's in Mid-City. Be there. Hey, and you folks out in Harahan, Elmwood, River Ridge, the Katie's of Harahan is Bienvenue, right there in that curve on Hickory Avenue. Bringing a little Mid-City, New Orleans, Katie's flavor to Harahan. Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue. Yeah, and Katie's in Mid-City. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday. You got an answer to our trivia? 504-766-9480. 504-766-9480. Fox poll, 65% say Trump was wrong to take documents home. 65%. We're going to visit with a cat in about 1 minute who's going to, no pun intended, a cat, who's going to tell us about almost a million dead pogies. Menhaden just released out into the Gulf off Louisiana's coast and not far from our coast. It's like a man-made dead zone. 1 million fish almost. But first, we head to the North Shore, Trey Yen country. Sue joins us. How are you, Sue?
Great. How are you?
Doing fine. What's happening?
Just heading home from work.
You on the causeway or what, I-12?
No, I'm on I-12.
There you go. Cool. Go pick up a little Trey Yen, Sue. Get some tongue cho sauce.
There you go.
It's good stuff, huh?
Oh, I mean.
Yep. What's on your mind, Sue, on the North Shore on I-12 heading home?
Well, I think I remember the answer to your question about the South Side.
Wow. You're over 60?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Jeez, you don't sound it. Had you ever partied in your life at the South Side?
I don't really remember, but probably.
Yeah, probably popped in the South Side in your life. All right, who was the owner? Who's the guy's name in the jingle? It sounds like a club owner, his name.
Okay, well, I don't remember the jingle, but I'm pretty sure the guy's name was Kenny Vinson.
Sue, that is correct. Kenny Vinson.
Right. Ding, ding, ding. What do we have for her, Johnny?
The party's on the South Side from dawn till dusk at South Side. Kenny Vinson, South Side. Jeesh. Wow. All right,
well,
Sue.
I listen to a lot of radio, you know.
Yep, I hear you. And you obviously partied back in the day at the South Side in Fat City. Hey, Sue, on the North Shore, hang on, all right? And have a great weekend, by the way. Sue on the North Shore, don't go anywhere. Jason, a.k.a. the Ragin' Cajun, is going to get some info from you and tighten you up with a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. Hey, Jeff Dorson from the Humane Society of Louisiana joins us. I don't know if 2 minutes is enough, Jeff. Can we get it done in 2 minutes?
Let's do it. Here we go. You talked about food. How about plant-based diet? I know you like your Lebanese fare, but we got something going on. I met a lovely lady. She said she reversed her diabetes, her obesity, her high blood pressure, high cholesterol by going to a plant-based diet and reversed all her health issues. So we're having, her first name is Dana. Dana's Vegan Dine Out, September 27th, to acknowledge her 2-year anniversary of being vegan and encouraging everybody else to try it for health reasons or environmental or animal welfare.
Well, I'll tell you this much, Jeff. It's all going in that direction. I'm a steak and meat eater, but it's less and less, smaller portions. I would imagine one day I'll probably be off all that stuff. And I don't think I'm the only person thinking that way. It seems like a lot of people are going that way. I think folks that want their steak and all that will be able to get it too. It'll just be at much smaller, limited availability. Hey, humanela.org. humanela.org. I thought, first off, this Menhaden thing is ridiculous. I got nothing against fisheries, but how we have it just wide open and no laws in Louisiana. We prostitute ourselves out. No regulations.
No, horrible. They just shrug their shoulders. 1 million dead fish. You try swimming in that.
No, but it's few hundred jobs at stake. I mean, if there were like 50,000 jobs, it's a few hundred jobs. It's not even 500 jobs. It's a joke. It's a joke. Blue Boy's ticked off. Hey, Jeff, do you want me to holler back at you in about 5 minutes?
You go ahead. My phone's ringing off the hook. We'll do next week.
HumaneLA.org. Blue Boy says donate right now. Volunteer. One of the best guys around, Jeff Dorson, doing the tough work. HumaneLA.org. 5 o'clock powwow is next. 93.9, 107.9 FM, New Orleans.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans Napoleon Terminal is nearly doubling in size, with 4 new gantry cranes being installed and over $100 million being invested. That means lots of new jobs, port traffic, and tax dollars for the city. The Port of New Orleans, your port.
Where can you find shish kebab in New Orleans? Lamb, beef, chicken, shrimp, plus all your other Mediterranean favorites. Lebanon's Cafe on the streetcar line. Lunch, dinner, and shish kebab. Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With smart home technology, control lights, locks, cameras, thermostat, and your alarm, all from your phone or laptop. Smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
When you think of Fury's Restaurant in Metairie, you think about their daily lunch specials like red beans and rice, black-eyed peas, white butter beans, liver and onions. Daily lunch specials. Fury's Restaurant in Metairie.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry, superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Well, we're moving on now to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. We're moving on to the east side. We finally got a piece of the pie. Fish don't fry in the
Yeah, you right. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. Wow. I just got clocked in the gut right at the top of the last hour. No, I mean, it's just, yeah, that. A needle running across a record. My sister, who is, she's, you know, like me, we have this love for animals. She's part of this group, Mid-City Mutt Mamas or something like that. You know, Jeff has often spoken about this. The demographic of people that volunteer and help Jeff at the Humane Society of Louisiana. It's roughly 30 to 70-year-old white women. That's it. I'm just telling you what the demographic is. There's nothing disparaging to say about everybody else, but maybe it's just, you know, white women are married to some white guy who's got a full-time job and they're middle class or above, and there's a lot more of that than maybe any other demographic, and these white women are available to volunteer. That's probably most of it. That's probably 90% of it. My sister, I guess, is in that boat, although my sister works and does a whole lot of stuff. Volunteers and works, you know, professionally, and helps run a business with her husband and all kind of stuff. Anyway, just a little while ago, she's on Canal Boulevard and some jerk runs over a dog and just drives off. And my sister goes and scoops up this dog. And my sister's obviously very brave because it's a little 10-pound dog, 12-pound dog who got run over and it's paralyzed. Back legs don't move anymore. So the dog is at MedVet in Metairie right now. And they need $2,200 down just before they even get started. So this is going to be thousands of dollars. And if the dog can be saved, I guess it's maybe it'll walk again, or maybe it's, you know, if they fix whatever happened, maybe it can walk again. Maybe it's going to have a little, you know, little cart that it's hooked to its back legs. I don't know. Maybe if there's internal injuries, they'll see in an x-ray and they'll be like, it better to put down the dog. I don't think that's the case. I think this dog is totally savable. This dog's hurting, and it just bums me out that someone would run over a dog and just keep driving. People just don't care, man. I mean, I talk about litter and stuff like that. The thing that you folks that, man, Corey cares a lot about animals. I really don't. I don't relate to that. I hear you. I'm not right or wrong. You're not right or wrong, whatever. But the thing is, people that treat animals, that abuse animals, do you think they treat human beings right? Yeah, Grandpa loves a cockfight. He loves the dog fighting, but he just really loves the grandchildren. I don't know if Grandpa was having cockfighting going on or had a dog fight ring going, wouldn't let him around the grandchildren. Don't care how much you love Grandpa. You just don't understand the times or how Grandpa grew up. Just when you're putting that kind of crap into your life, that there's something bad has to come from that. All these people that are like mass murderers, they all were abusing animals. Started there. You know, Jeffrey Dahmer was killing squirrels, and then he couldn't get the skin off the bone of the squirrel, the dead squirrel. So he started dipping the bones in acid, and it really did a good job of getting the skin off the bone. That's the exact same scenario with the people and the human heads and the body parts in his apartment, the big vat of acid. Same thing 20 years later. You know, people that abuse animals worry me a lot. They're a danger to society. People that are irresponsible, that are pet owners, don't bring their pet to the vet ever. They're wondering why all their pets die at 4, 8, 6, just these single-digit years. Oh, my dog died of heartworm. Yeah, we're in South Louisiana. Heartworm medication monthly is a necessity, not a luxury. Don't have a pet if you're not going to be a responsible pet owner. It's pretty simple. So, I mean, we have people that are, quote, pet owners that aren't doing it right. People that don't spay or neuter their pets, don't bring them to the vet, don't put them on some type of heartworm medicine monthly because of the mosquitoes, leave them outside, think they're a burglar alarm, leave them tied up or put them on a chain, don't walk them enough. Don't have a pet then. It's not a TV set. You don't just turn it on whenever you like. No, it's sickening. It's sickening. All right, I'm getting a text right now. Your sister's taking the dog to I think a vet that Jeff has a connection to. We put on the deposit, no worries. Wow. All right, so we got to raise some money, and it's going to be thousands of dollars to save this little dog. HumaneLA.org is the website. Not even like thinking about this little dog suffering, gets run over. Back legs aren't working. That's just terrible. People are sick. And man, it's Friday. Hit the dog. Not letting that ruin my weekend. People are sick. Your weekend's already ruined. Hey, dude, a lady, whatever. If that's how you live your life's already ruined. But, you know, introspection and thinking about it, you don't get it. And you wonder why you're bitter and angry and, you know. Life's pretty self-fulfilling prophecy. It pretty much takes care of itself. No, it's sick. HumaneLA.org. I don't mean to bum you out on a Friday. We're going to Frank Brigtsen in about 5 minutes. That'll cheer you up. And I'm not going to mention the dog to Frank. Maybe right at the end. HumaneLA.org. We need your help. Go to the website, HumaneLA.org. No, just a few minutes ago, my sister picked up a dog on the street. She's thanking me. I said, you're brave. Jeff is calling you to put it on his credit card. Then I'm going to help him raise the money on the air to pay all the bills. I'm so sorry you had to experience that. Almost crying thinking about it. She's saying thank you to me. That's funny. She called me while I was talking with you, Jeff says, plus someone else called from Avoyles Parish. A stray was hit, has a broken leg. Yikes. It might be a long-ass weekend. That's from Jeff Dorson. You see how this works? You see Jeff's Friday? That's what Jeff's dealing with on a Friday at 5:13. So no, not my ideal 5 p.m. Friday show where it's supposed to be light and easy. And it will be in a few minutes when Frank Brigtsen joins us. But if you're like, man, listen to Corey, I don't want to listen to this on a Friday. I want to start my weekend. I hear you. But this is reality and kind of have a little taste, you know, have a little empathy, have a little understanding of what Jeff Dorson deals with. Helping my sister with this dog that got run over on Canal Boulevard, and then's going to help this stray dog that was hit with a broken leg in Avoyles Parish. So he's going to be traveling around and spending a lot of money and paying a lot of vets and emergency people money And it's all through the Humane Society of Louisiana. That's what he does, scrambling to save these animals' lives. You interested in helping? HumaneLA.org. HumaneLA.org. Corey Johnson with you on a Fantasy Friday. Sorry for the, start of the program like that. But no, that hit me like a ton of bricks 15 minutes ago, right when I let Jeff go at 4:59, heading to the top of the 5 o'clock hour. I get a text from my sister. And then I call her, and I'm talking to her during that quick break at the top of the hour. And she's just trying to stick to the facts, because when I'm asking her about the dog and what happened, you picked him up, where you have she's thinking about it and it's getting emotional. So she refocused back on the important thing. Let's get this dog taken care of. And how are we going to do this? We're going to do it by raising money. I'm going to put up money. Hopefully you're going to put up money, and we're going to save a couple of dogs' lives thanks to Jeff and the Humane Society of Louisiana. HumaneLA.org is how you can donate. Whew. I may have to head to Fury's tonight after that, huh? Gumbo, onion ring, speckled trout, flounder, snapper. It's fresh local seafood, plus lots of other little New Orleans specialties. They've been at it nearly 40 years. You will not be disappointed. You'll be very happy. They're open till 9 p.m. Experience it tonight. Fury's Restaurant in Metairie. So good. Speaking of so good and restaurants, when we come back, Frank Brigtsen will join us on the program. Corey Johnson with you, Fantasy Friday edition of the show.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see. What about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans Napoleon Terminal is nearly doubling in size, with 4 new gantry cranes being installed and over $100 million being invested. That means lots of new jobs, port traffic, and tax dollars for the city. The Port of New Orleans, your port.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, fuller part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa, with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, Super discount store in Chalmette.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro, Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro. For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one of these coveted positions, go online to tommyslockанdalarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
They've been around for over 50 years, Helm Paint and Decorating. New Orleanians that know, go to Helm. It really is just a natural thing we do in New Orleans when it's time to paint. It's a no-brainer. 7 locations: East Bank, West Bank, North Shore, New Orleans, Metairie, Gretna, Kenner, Mandeville, Hammond, plus 2 free-hour delivery. You can pick your Benjamin Moore colors online if you want to. Call it in. They'll bring it to you. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, do it once, do it right. They'll steer you in the right direction. Helm Paint and Decorating. Corey Johnson with you, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Thanks so much for joining us on the radio, on television. We're now on YouTube. Yeah, you're right, on YouTube. Hey, let's go to the Riverbend section of Uptown New Orleans, the Carrollton neighborhood. They've only been there for 35 plus years, multiple James Beard Awards. Frank Brigtsen joins us from his world-class restaurant. What's up, Frank?
Corey Johnson, how nice to hear from you. Happy Friday.
Yeah, you're right, Frank. What's going on in the Riverbend area? What goodies you have going for us? We're sort of fading out of summer, almost fading into fall. How does that affect seafood and vegetable, fruits, all kind of food items?
I was just going to mention how gorgeous this weather is, man. Blue skies, a little cloud here or there, pleasant temperature. What a great time of year.
Yep. Football season. Yep. And in the next few weeks, to be able to, open the windows and the door of the house, let the breeze blow through.
Yeah, it really is nice. And we're enjoying it here, too. I'm watching cars pull up to the restaurant now. We opened at 5 o'clock, got a few tables coming in already. And very excited to have a great night tonight.
Hey, what?
And the one thing I wanted to tell you right off the bat, Corey, because this is either good news or bad news for you. The bad news is no flounder available today and no speckled trout, of course. So there's no Meunier on our menu, which is a very strange thing.
Wow.
That's the only 2 fish I'll do it with. Nothing else really works. It's not the right size, texture, taste, whatever. So the good news is that would force you to try something different.
That's true. Well, let's see. What have I had entree-wise over there? I've had the trout. I've had flounder. You've had specials before. I got the seafood platter before. I've had the filet over there before. I've had the chicken over there before. But you're right, Frank. I'm a creature of habit. It's hard for me to get away from the barbecue shrimp. It's hard for me to get away from the trout with the pecans. Hard for me to get away from the pecan pie. I admit it.
Right. That's all right. I mean, that's what we call cravers. You're craving a dish before you even walk in the door. And that's why there's some dishes that have been on our restaurant menu for years, like the blackened tuna, which is, of course, available with blackened tuna with smoked corn sauce, red bean salsa, drizzled with a roasted red pepper sour cream. I could eat that twice a week myself. Marna likes to take home a piece of blackened tuna and eat it with a salad, something like that. Pecan pie, always making pecan pie here. We're on butterscotch bread pudding right now. I just had a little cup of that myself. Lemon blueberry creme brulee, very refreshing. And our big old double chocolate cake with chocolate sauce. And Chef Samantha Price made a special dessert off the menu today. We have, she does a variety of different cheesecakes, and it's not a slice of cheesecake. She has these special round molds, so you get an individual little tower of cheesecake. So this is with a graham cracker crust on the bottom, vanilla bean cheesecake, creme brulee. So the cheesecake itself is sprinkled with sugar on the top and burned like a creme brulee. And you talk about a delightfully rich taste and texture. It's my favorite. She's made about 8 different kinds so far, and this is my favorite.
Round, but not in the little dish.
Right. It comes out of the mold and plated up on a round plate, and she puts a little creme anglaise sauce on there. It's so good.
That's unbelievable. Now, that dessert, is that like one person knocks that out, or that's a share thing? Because that just looks so good and so rich.
That could really go either way. There's no doubt. It's rich. Even myself, I struggle, but I make it through. But it's definitely something you could share, and you'd still get 6 bites each. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. That's the only downside of your restaurant, Frank. I'm going to give you the negative of Brigtsen's. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
Everything is so damn good, you have to like think ahead. Because if you, I'm going to share the barbecue shrimp. I'm going to let someone else sop up some of this sauce. I'm not going to sop it all up because I don't want to fill up on that. And I'm filling up on it because I love it. And then I move on to the next dish, and I'm like, I better not eat all this speckled trout. I better leave like a little bit to maybe heat up tomorrow or later tonight because I want pecan pie. You know,
exactly.
You know, you got to plan ahead at Brigtsen's. You can't get full or you might miss a dessert.
It's true. It's good to have a game plan like that because you might be craving a pecan pie or something. When I see somebody get a bowl of butternut shrimp bisque instead of a cup, I always say, they're not going to have dessert.
No, yeah, exactly. But it's a catch-22 because it's like, I want to eat the barbecue shrimp. They want that butternut, shrimp.
Oh, yeah. If they get a bowl, I know that's what they've been thinking about all day long.
Exactly.
And that's okay. It's okay. You can always get dessert to go, too.
Yeah.
Tastes good on the couch.
Yeah, no, exactly. Later on, once things settle in, there's no doubt.
I can vouch for that.
All right, Frank, when you went to the seafood purveyor, what did he tell you you're serving?
Well, Larry picked up some Dorson catfish this morning. That's for our fried catfish dish. Fried catfish sounds like a very humble thing, but I think ours is extra special.
Yeah, y'all are old school with the you use like what everybody else kind of uses, but then you go old school with that corn batter, that corn.
Yeah, we do half corn flour, half corn meal, seasoned, of course. But it goes into a wet batter first of eggs, milk, Creole mustard, and yellow mustard. So you get a very subtle tang when you eat the catfish. And then it's served with tartar sauce. But it's our made-from-scratch roasted jalapeno tartar sauce. And the first step in that recipe is we make our own pickles for the tartar sauce, just for that. And that's really outstanding. Then we garnish it with some cherry tomatoes, thinly sliced red onion and green onions, quickly marinated in a little cane vinaigrette.
Wow. How do you make your own pickles?
We buy cucumbers as needed, and we slice them long ways, thin planks, because we're going to wind up dicing them very small.
All right.
And then my pickle mixture has onions, garlic, dill, white vinegar, a little bit of sugar, bay leaf, of course, coriander seed, and mustard seed.
And how long the process?
Well, they don't cook. We bring that mixture to a boil, let it boil for 5 minutes to get all the flavors together, and then we pour it over the sliced cucumbers at room temperature, and that sits out at room temp for 30 minutes, and then we put it in the walk-in cooler to chill, and that way the pickles have some crisp texture.
So it's not like a few day process. It's cucumber turns into pickle pretty quickly.
Yeah, and it's a very quick process, and we store it, of course, in a covered container, and they last for weeks. But we make them about every 2 weeks.
Wow. Frank Brigtsen's with us from his legendary restaurant in the Riverbend. Any openings tonight, Frank, or tomorrow night?
We are pretty well booked for this weekend, but I think if you call Mara, she might have a two-top tonight and tomorrow. We always try to get you in. We hate saying no. So give us a call at 861-7610. My wife, Marna, the big boss, is on the phone tonight.
The only boss, 861-7610, 861-7610. That's the number to Brigtsen's, 861-7610. The website is brigtsens.com, BRIGTSENS, brightsens.com. Anything we're missing, Frank?
Well, I'll give you a little tease for next week. Larry and I have been powwowing and working on a new appetizer. I'll give you a few clues. Quail. I bought some truffle honey, and I ordered a mini waffle maker.
A mini waffle maker.
Yep.
Jeez and Pete's. Quail and waffles? Are you?
Yep.
Is it rolled up in the waffle? Is it just?
No.
Wow.
You've heard of? I mean, people eat fried chicken and waffles.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a chicken fried quail.
Wow.
With a special waffle and a special truffle honey butter sauce.
Jeez.
If things go well.
If things go well. Wow. Who came up with that idea?
It's a collaboration between me and Chef Larry Herbert. I just saw Chef Larry. We have one chef that's out of town this week, and we recruited a helper who's helped us before, and it's Larry's daughter, Trista. Larry's going to train her on the grill tonight. She works at a restaurant on the North Shore, and she's coming over to help us out, and it's such a beautiful thing. I remember the night she was born.
Wow.
Larry had to leave service during Jazz Fest for Trista's birth, and now here she is working the grill with her pop.
What are you going to get, half a quail?
No, whole quail, semi-boneless whole quail.
Wow. So that's like eight little pieces.
Yeah.
Yummy. That's incredible. And fried, you just deep fry it?
Yeah, I'm going to fry it like chicken.
Wow.
A little buttermilk and then into seasoned flour.
That's fantastic. And then a homemade waffle.
Yep. With special spices. That's all I'm going to tell you.
That's a lot. I like that dish. You might have to set up a pop-up for that.
Yeah, really. And you're the only person in town that knows that, Corey, so don't tell anybody.
All right. I won't. Frank, always. What's that? Go ahead.
Have a great weekend, Corey. We love you, New Orleans, and I'll talk to you next Friday.
I won't mention the potential waffle and quail dish, like chicken and waffles. I won't mention that, all right?
Yeah, keep it on the lowdown.
Put a lid on that. Frank, thanks.
See you later, man.
All right, man. That's Frank Brigtsen joining us from his restaurant. How good does that sound, Jason? That's ridiculous. Just the homemade waffle. No. Just pull it out of the thing and I'll eat that. Dry, nothing on it. You know, that's like the best waffle on planet Earth. Seasoned waffle. But then, you know, it's going to have this perfectly fried quail, which I'll just give me that. I'll eat that. And it's going to be fantastic. But then they're going to drizzle that, you know, syrupy sauce on it. It's ridiculous. That sounds too damn good. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday afternoon. That is a good invention, lobster, chicken, and waffles. Whoever came up with that. I mean, when it's good, it's really good. When the chicken's fried, crispy, and it's hot, and it's not greasy, and the waffle is crispy and not wet and watered down, and then you got some nice syrup on there. That's pretty good eating. That's a good mix right there. It is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you on a Friday. Pretty nice day out there. A little more humid, but not too bad. Pretty nice, to be honest with you. Kind of some rough news today. I'm going to try to blow through it on a Friday, but I don't know. I think I'd be wrong to not mention it. 3 children killed in a house fire in Gretna. Just, I don't know. I can't comprehend that. I don't have kids. Just sickening, just hurts. 3 children killed in a house fire in Gretna. Keep the parents in your thoughts and prayers. That is brutal. Just a little while ago, a little before 5 o'clock on Canal Boulevard, my sister's driving down the street. She's like me. She loves animals. Some guy just runs over a dog, just keeps driving because it's Friday. I'm not going to let me running over the dog ruin my day. My sister pulls over, picks up the dog. Back legs aren't working. Jeff Dorson of the Humane Society stepping up. But that means we have to step up and donate to help save this little guy that got run over by some worthless jerk. Hopefully that traffic camera does something on Canal Boulevard. Maybe they can get his plate off of that. Anyway, if you'd like to donate to help save this dog's life, I mean, the initial down payment they were talking about was like $2,200. HumaneLA.org is the website. HumaneLA.org. If you want on the little, when you're donating, you can get specific. The dog Corey was talking about that his sister picked up, whatever you want. But then Jeff said he's got to go to Avoyelles Parish too. Someone called from Avoyelles Parish. A stray was hit, has a broken leg. Said it's going to be a long weekend. That's what they do over there. You talk about Saints and LSU. They're the offensive linemen. We talk about the quarterbacks, the wideouts, the running backs, the DB, the skill position players, defensive linemen because they're making sacks, making tackles. Offensive linemen, they just block and they just get abused when they don't block effectively. Rarely get praise when the team's winning. It's about the great touchdown catcher. Did you see that run and the quarterback play? And all that's legit, but the linemen deserve some of that too, huh? And the linemen don't get too much of that. The linemen don't get much of that at all. So the linemen deserve some props. Jeff Dorson and the Humane Society, they're the linemen. They're the linemen. They're the guys that on a Friday at 5-something are helping out my sister who picked up a dog that got run over. And then they get another call from someone from Avoyelles Parish about a stray dog that was hit and has a broken leg. Emergency service, helping the dogs get comfortable, fluids, pain medication, all of that costs money, thousands of dollars. And these vet clinics, they want it right away. Not going to fix the dog and you pay later. If you'd like to help on this Friday where an avalanche of that kind of stuff just rolled in front of us, HumaneLA.org. HumaneLA.org. Corey Johnson with you on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Hey, lots of signing spots over the weekend, including a bunch before Sunday Saints game, but I don't know, maybe 12, 15 different places you can sign to recall the mayor to get your signature down so there'll be a vote. Just one step. You sign the recall petition. They get 53,000 plus signatures before February 22nd, or about 5 months from now. This is a grind. Got to get a lot of signatures, 400 a day on average. 400 signatures a day on average, not 8 or 10, or we got 20 here, we got 30, man, we got 75 today. 400 a day on average. Every day, 400. It's not easy to do. Go to nolatoya.org, nolatoya.org, and they've got all the sites, the locations over the weekend that makes it easy for you to walk up and in just a few minutes, legally, legitimately sign the petition where your name counts towards that 53,000 plus, and maybe there'll be a recall election. LaToya Cantrell's the incidental. Yeah, do we deserve a recall election? I think so. The mayor hadn't really done a good job and is belligerent with the travel and excuse making. It's sad. It's pathetic. It's petty. But the bigger picture is instead of a regular election, it's finishing up LaToya Cantrell's term. And I think folks with that mentality might be like, I'll roll the dice a little bit. I'm not going to vote for the conventional politician that I'm expecting to run. The typical politician that's gaining popularity and is expected to run. I'm going to vote for someone different. And maybe it's someone that's civic-minded, that is a change agent, that has a successful record of maybe taking over hurting or companies that are floundering and turning them around and making them successful. Maybe there's someone out there that's like that, that's actually special. That's a change agent. That's a leader. That's not just painfully ordinary. Someone that's not just LaToya Cantrell's not dumb, but LaToya Cantrell's not the sharpest tool in the shed. She's not someone like that LaToya Cantrell. She's brilliant. We need brilliant. Maybe that'll pop up. Maybe someone will go, I'm going to come in and I'm going to turn this ship around that is New Orleans. Turn it around, go back to port, maybe board a whole other ship. Because the direction we're going in, the direction we've been going in for the most part, especially the Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 stuff, the important part, we're terrible at for the last 40, 50 years. So maybe some change agent could come in, and because it's not a full 4-year term and it's finishing up LaToya's term, maybe folks are going to be a little more open-minded about voting. Like, enough of the politician. Let's get someone else in there. Let's get someone who's different. Maybe someone will emerge. I've seen that very rarely in Louisiana. I saw it in the late 80s statewide when Buddy Roemer came out of nowhere and became governor. He was all about change and just common sense and the opposite of, the Edwin Edwards, Alario, Bill Jefferson, Mark Morial. I mean, I can go on and on. That broken Louisiana, New Orleans political mentality hasn't worked ever, never will work. It's all about the needs of the few over the needs of the many. These folks setting up themselves, friends, and family. No, Buddy Roemer was a change agent like North Carolina change. And North Carolina went from, when I was in high school and got into LSU in the, middle 80s, North Carolina didn't have a city. Charlotte wasn't a city. North Carolina was a state like Arkansas or, Alabama, Mississippi, no city. West Virginia, no city. And then, Charlotte took off like a rocket ship, insurance and banking. And then the research triangle, that Raleigh-Durham area, which is like country. Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, a greater population than Metro New Orleans today. I mean, Charlotte is twice the Metro New Orleans size. And there are other Norfolk, Tidewater, Virginia, another state, but right next door, larger population than Metro New Orleans. These places have focused on maximizing what they do. Buddy Roemer was like that. And it's sad what happened with Buddy Roemer. Buddy Roemer's a Democrat-elected governor, switches to the Republican Party in the middle of his term. The Republican Party in the state doesn't embrace that. Wow, we have the incumbent. They endorsed this extreme evangelical lunatic, Clyde Holloway, who had no chance of getting elected. but he pulled like 8% of the vote because the dopey Republican Party endorsed him instead of Buddy Roemer, the sitting Republican governor. And you know what that brought us? Two things. Not Roemer continuing the reforms that maybe could have turned us into North Carolina and New Orleans into Charlotte. And I'm not talking literally. We'll never lose our culture in Louisiana. We'll never lose our culture in New Orleans. But a little more forward thinking, not back of the bus like we are now. It stopped that, and we've never recovered. And look where North Carolina is. And it brought us the craziest, most insane runoff election, maybe in the history of runoff elections. The bumper sticker said it all. Vote for the crook. It's important. Edwin Edwards, just the insane, crooked clown joker, hack, pathetic human being, just a clown. Only in Louisiana would he be tolerated or even appreciated. Just a total sellout. 100%. Almost worthless. That idiot versus someone even worse than him. How do you get worse than a criminal, crooked scumbag like Edwin Edwards? Seriously, I'm being nice. Edwin Edwards was worried about himself, setting up friends and family, and screwed over the state. 4 terms and no accomplishments. I'll have to pull up our old interview with him. It was embarrassing. I felt sorry for the pathetic guy. Couldn't come up with any positives over 16 years. I was starting to make fun of him. It was pathetic. Now you get that and David Dork, a former Nazi, KKK grand wizard, racist loser. That's what we get in Louisiana. That's the message we send. Now, could have had Buddy Roemer and North Carolina-like reforms. You know, like Benson buying the Saints and bringing in Jim Finks and Jim Moore and Pride for the first time and winning for the first time, and then Peyton and Drew Brees and winning the Super Bowl, like that kind of stuff. No, instead we're, Mike Ditka 3-13, Curly Hallman era, and we embrace it and we vote for the Mike Ditka, Curly Hallman, Edwin Edwards, Alario, Morial, Bill Jefferson crap over and over and over again. Absolutely crazy. Insane. Hey, Young's Dry Cleaning, nothing crazy about those guys. It's a New Orleans institution, the biggest dry cleaner because they've always been the best. I love Young's Dry Cleaning. I've been going to those guys for a few decades now, literally a few decades now. My mom's probably been going to Young's for like 45, 50 years. Some folks longer than that, because they're the best in the business. If you're tired of your dry cleaner or you're just looking to experience the best, youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about the freshest local seafood anywhere. Shrimp, oysters, speckled trout, flounder, snapper, soft shells, crawfish. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our Top Benchmore exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans Napoleon Terminal is nearly doubling in size, with 4 new gantry cranes being installed and over $100 million being invested. That means lots of new jobs, port traffic, and tax dollars for the city. The Port of New Orleans, your port.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan. For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
You're talking about France from which we've come.
I mean, listen, we're talking about practice.
You're talking about France that has an ambassador living in the city of New Orleans.
We're talking about practice.
You're talking about France.
We're talking about practice.
You're talking about France.
But we're talking about practice, man.
You're talking about France.
We're talking about practice. What are we talking about?
Talking about France.
Practice?
France.
Well, we're talking about practice right now.
You're talking about France that has residents and artists in residence right here in the city of New Orleans, over 4 of them.
We're talking about practice.
You're talking about France.
We're talking about practice.
You're talking about France from which we've come.
But we're talking about
France.
It's funny to me too. I mean, it's strange to me too.
Hey, if you have a chance over the weekend and you want to see one of the dumbest people's houses anywhere, head on down to, what is that, Seminole Street in Metairie, Bucktown. It's right off of Metairie Hammond Highway, by R&O's, by Station 6, by, what's the Thai joint called? Mama Thai. That is Bangkok cuisine, by the way. Old Bangkok cuisine, by the old Rockin' Bowl, Tulane and Carrollton pre-Katrina. Then uptown was La Thai on Britannia. That was Mama Thai's daughter. And now Mama Thai is out in Bucktown, and Station 6 is slammed. R&O is slammed. They're always slammed. Mama Thai just seems like they have a good crowd, but you can always get in. Seems like they should be slammed because that place is really good. And those little fried egg rolls, Mama makes them herself. They're just really, really good. Anyway, that's the neighborhood. So maybe go to Mama Thai and get some good stuff and then head down Seminole Street. And I don't know, about half a block down on your left, it's like Sanford and Son. You got some dork that just has like signage in front of his house, tiki torches in the yard. Steps are painted like red and black, like he had some extra Mardi Gras paint from like his Mardi Gras float left over. Let's use this to paint the house. A friend of mine drove by and was like, his sister/wife. I was like, wow, it's that kind of scenario, huh? It's his sister and his wife. Anyway, yeah, it kind of looks like that. It's like the Sanford and Son house. I don't know if it's good for children or grandma or grandpa because there's like curse words on the signage. I think Jefferson Parish needs to come up with some code or ordinance where you can't have signage in front of your house in a neighborhood, period. Big signage. Has to be some limitation in the size. Plus the time duration. You know, gutters by Jason the Raging Cajun. Painting done by Corey Contractors. That's fine for a few weeks, a month. But you can't have it up permanently. This dork has signage up with, the 6th letter of the alphabet. Just obnoxious. Beyond obnoxious. Just selfish, self-absorbed, no introspection. And the worst, how'd you like to be a neighbor or live in that neighborhood? How'd you like to be the neighbors living next door? And that's what happens. It sucks wherever you live if you get a bad neighbor. It's such a blessing when you have a good neighbor. It could be years, decades of peace and happiness. And the opposite when you get a bad neighbor. You got this Sanford and Son dude, and Fred Sanford was cool. He was a nice man. Lamont was cool and nice. I don't think these people can be because the sign's so caustic and harsh. And then just the paint scheme, just no clue. No, and it's like adult people. They own the house. That's the crazy thing. Like they got a mortgage or they had the money. They got a job. They could physically buy the house, financially buy the house. And so that's the crazy thing. When it's like, no, dude, those people are 8 years old. It's children. That's why it's got the Mardi Gras float paint, for the house color and the tiki torches and the signage and the junkyard look. That's why it's just a total embarrassment. I don't live on that street, and it doesn't affect me one bit. But it is comical and it is pathetic, and it's Jefferson Parish needs to, clamp down on some ordinance on that. Can't have the 6th letter of the alphabet on a sign that you drive by and kids can see or grandparents. It's just not right. But that's, got jokers. Hey, you could left next door to the dude that has the school bus in the driveway or the huge boat in the driveway. Hey, Jimmy, your boat's worth $100,000. You can't afford to put that in a boatyard somewhere, a storage facility. The boat's $100,000. It's the price of a house. You can't go to a storage facility. You can't afford the couple $100 a month, huh? Got to leave it in the driveway. The Mardi Gras float in the driveway. Dude, it's not my driveway. It's in the lot next door. You use it one day a year. That big 18-wheeler thing's got to sit there for the other 364 days. Jeez and Pete. School bus, Mardi Gras float, the dually truck with all the stickers on it and the ladders. That's great stuff in your neighborhood. No, and this jerk with the Sanford and Son look on Seminole Street in Bucktown. Ridiculous. Hey, not too far from that jackass is Fausto's Italian Bistro, right on the other side of West Esplanade Canal, beeline through that part of Metri, hit Vets, Fausto's Italian Bistro. They're open right now. They'll go till 10 tonight. Same deal tomorrow, 5 to 10 tomorrow night. With the weather kind of milder, maybe when the sun drops out the sky in about 45 minutes, you can dine outside tonight at Fausto's Italian Bistro. So good, you will not be disappointed. New Orleans inspired, authentic, wonderful Sicilian and Italian. It's Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets. Jason, we never hit the 5 o'clock whistle today earlier, did we? Can we hit it now? That guy's at the bar. He already went to Super D. He went to Super D, had his drinks and everything. He's like, dude, the whistle at the factory at the plant blew an hour ago. Sorry about that. What's that, Blue Boy? We should call it the 6 o'clock whistle. We're an hour late. You're right, buddy. Call it the 6 o'clock whistle. What else? Thank Jason, everybody listening and watching, Fletcher and Frank Brigtsen, Jeff Dorson. Yeah, donate. Help out the dog with the broken leg that got run over. HumaneLA.org. Do it right now. Start the weekend the right way. It'll take you a minute. HumaneLA.org. Donate. 93.9 FM New Orleans. Mañana, Monday, actually.